Kate, traveling with the vice president to the Korean DMZ, it is probably not a surprise that there, when he is about 100 strategic patience is over. What does that mean in real terms?
It was the policy of the United States of America during prior administrations to practice what they called strategic patience. And that was to hope to marshal international support to the advent of nuclear weapons testing, the development of a nuclear program, even this weekend to see another attempt at a ballistic missile launch. All confirms the fact that strategic patience has failed.
But what does it mean to end it in practical terms? It's either use military force or find a diplomatic solution that has eluded all of your predecessors.
Well, I think as the President's made clear that we're going to abandon the failed policy of strategic patience, but we're going to redouble our efforts to bring diplomatic and economic pressure to bear on North Korea. Our hope is that we can resolve this issue peaceably. And I know the President was heartened by his discussions with President Xi. We've seen China begin to take some actions to bring pressure on North Korea, but there needs to be more.
Just a couple of hours later here in Seoul, the vice president was standing next to the acting president of South Korea, and he struck a much more robust, much more forward-leaning tone with regard to a military solution, saying explicitly that this young administration has already conducted military strikes in Syria and Afghanistan, and that is something that the North Koreans should pay attention to. Kate?
Jana Bash, thank you so much, Jana. Great to see you. I want to bring in right now Sumi Terry. She's a former North Korea analyst for the CIA. She's also worked in the National Security Council and for the Director of National Intelligence, specifically, of course, on many of these exact issues we're talking about right now. Great to see you, Sue. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me on.
So you hear the Vice President in a speech and speaking to Dana saying very specifically, the era of strategic patience is over. It's something we've heard from the Secretary of State. He's laid that out before, but hearing it from the Vice President, standing there in the demilitarized zone, what is the signal that he's trying to send?
He's trying to send now that we have all the options are on the table, including military force. I think North Korea never truly believed that U.S. is ever going to use a military option. But now I think we're threatening use of force.
So when you hear also, then, as Jim Acosta spoke with the president just moments ago, and the president says that his message to North Korea is got to behave. I mean, that might just, maybe any president would say that, but what would Kim Jong-un receive in that?
Got to behave means please do not conduct another nuclear test. That will be a 6th nuclear test. Or intercontinental ballistic missile test. That's a critical threshold. If he conducts an ICBM test that could reach mainland United States, that's what we consider truly alarming. So not a short range or intermediate range.
Right.
Yeah.